Dare to discover the hidden spiritual challenges few ever confront. Have you ever felt like the universe was testing you more intensely than others? Like you were being pushed to your absolute limits, while those around you seemed to coast through life? There's a profound reason for this, and today, I'm going to share something that might completely change how you view your spiritual challenges. What if I told you that the most intense spiritual trials aren't random at all? They're actually reserved for those who are destined for a profound awakening. These aren't just ordinary obstacles. They're sacred initiations that few will ever experience. Today, we're diving deep into the 7 most challenging spiritual tests that only the chosen few will ever face. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your spiritual journey lately, this video might just be the answer you've been searching for. Welcome, spiritual seekers. Before we explore these 7 trials, I want to share why they've become such defining moments in countless spiritual journeys throughout history. From ancient mystics like Rumi and Saint John of the Cross to modern spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle, these tests have been documented as the ultimate catalysts for transformation. What makes these trials truly unique is their intensity. We're not talking about simple challenges here. These are profound spiritual initiations that completely reshape your entire being. Think of them as spiritual fire that burns away everything that isn't truly you. Whether you're currently in the midst of these trials or feel them approaching on your horizon, understanding their nature will give you the strength to persist when others might give up. Remember, being chosen for these tests isn't a burden, it's a sacred honor. The 7 supreme spiritual challenges, your ultimate test of faith. Trial number 1 is the Truth Mirror Trial. The first and perhaps most shocking test is the Truth Mirror Trial. Imagine standing before a mirror that shows not just your physical reflection, but your complete spiritual truth. This trial forces you to confront your authentic self, stripping away all those carefully constructed masks you've built over the years. During this phase, you'll see yourself with unprecedented clarity, both the light and the shadow aspects of your being. It's often uncomfortable, sometimes even devastating, but it's absolutely necessary for your evolution. You find yourself standing in a vast, empty chamber with a lone mirror suspended in midair before you. As you approach, the mirror's surface begins to ripple and distort, like the gentle lapping of waves on a summer shore. Suddenly, a low, resonant voice booms from an unseen source, echoing off the walls. Welcome to the Truth Mirror Trial. You have been brought here to confront the deepest, most hidden aspects of your own soul. The mirror's surface starts to calm, revealing an image that is not your own. You see a youthful version of yourself, full of hope and limitless potential. This reflection speaks to you in a voice that is almost identical to your own, yet holds a tinge of sorrow and regret. You have spent years trying to hide from this truth, youthful you says, but the mirror has seen it all. It has watched as you compromised your values, abandoned your passions, and settled for lives that were not truly yours. You have become a master of denial, of justification, and of distraction. Yet, deep down, you know that these lies have taken their toll on your soul. As you listen to the words of your youthful counterpart, you begin to feel a growing sense of discomfort. The mirror seems to be reflecting not just your outer self, but also the hidden depths of your being. You see the fear of failure, the doubt of your own worth, and the guilt of past mistakes. These emotions, long suppressed, now swirl to the surface like a maelstrom, threatening to consume you. The mirror's surface begins to ripple again, this time revealing a twisted, nightmarish version of yourself. This creature is a manifestation of your darkest fears and deepest insecurities. It speaks to you in a voice that is both cruel and pathetic, reminding you of all the ways you have failed and all the regrets that have haunted you. You are a shadow of your former self, says the nightmarish reflection. You have been reduced to a mere shell of your former hopes and dreams. Your life has been a long, slow slide into mediocrity, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. The mirror's surface shudders and distorts once more, this time revealing a wisdom-filled, ancient version of yourself. This sage and venerable soul speaks to you with a voice that is both measured and empathetic. Dear one, you have been through the fire and emerged scarred, but not broken, says the ancient reflection. You have been given a rare gift, the opportunity to see yourself from the outside, to confront the lies that have held you back, and to begin the journey of true self-discovery. This mirror is a doorway to the depths of your own soul, a place where you can confront your fears, release your regrets, and reclaim your true purpose. As the mirror's surface returns to its calm, glassy state, you are left to ponder the moments of truth that have been revealed to you. You realize that this trial has been a journey of self-compassion, a reminding me to treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I would offer to a dear friend. The mirror has shown you that the truth is not always easy to bear, but it is in confronting these truths that you can begin to liberate your truest self. You leave the chamber with a newfound respect for the wisdom of the truth mirror trial. You know that you will forever be changed by the experiences you had in front of that mirror, and that the echoes of its truth will continue to resonate within you, guiding you on your journey towards authenticity and self-realization. Next comes the divine isolation. This isn't just about being alone. It's about experiencing a profound solitude where even your closest relationships seem distant and unfamiliar. You might find yourself naturally drifting away from old friends, family members, or social circles that once felt like home. This isolation isn't meant to punish you. It's designed to help you discover your inner strength and develop an unshakable connection with your higher self. When external support systems fall away, you're forced to find your own inner light. As you stand at the threshold of the divine isolation, you can't help but feel a sense of disorientation. It's as if you've been placed on a deserted planet, with no clear map to guide you back to the familiar shores of human connection. The silence is deafening, a palpable force that presses down upon you like a physical weight. Every whisper, every glance, every gesture seems to carry a hint of uncertainty, leaving you questioning whether you truly belong in this strange new world. Your heart beats faster as you face the uncertainty that awaits. Your relationships, once the foundation of your sense of identity, now feel like a fragile latticework, ready to collapse beneath the gentlest gust of wind. What once brought you joy and a sense of belonging now feels stilted, disconnected. Friendships, once so naturally effortless, now require deliberate effort, like straining to grasp a handful of sand. It's here, in this suffocating stillness, that you'll be forced to confront your own insecurities. You wonder whether you're truly isolated, or if it's just your perception, a product of your own fears and insecurities. Are you abandoning relationships that once brought you comfort, or are they simply falling away, like autumn leaves from a barren tree? Do you see the world as an endless expanse of isolation, or is it merely the self that's trapped in this disconnection? As the days pass, the echoes of your own voice grow louder, a haunting reminder of your increasing solitude. Your inner world becomes a stage where your emotions dance, recede, and reassemble in haphazard patterns, like clouds shifted by an unseen wind. Your senses sharpen, your intuition heightens, and your feelings become a morass of complexity, tempting you to surrender to the whirlpool of chaos within. The divine isolation transforms your relationship with your own self. You must now tenderly nurture and understand the psyche that exists within, confronting your deepest phobias and desires. You come to realize that your capacity to love and connect with others has been amplified, waiting in the wings, as you learn to foster solitude as a sacred companion. One day, while walking along a desolate road, you encounter a stranger, a fellow traveler on this solitary journey. You exchange hesitant smiles, feeling a certain unease as your minds reach out in tentative exploration. For a moment, the connection crackles with an invisible spark, illuminating the possibility of human connection in the face of isolation. Your heart knows that this relationship, born from a chance encounter, bears the germs of a deep, soul-touching bond, a bond forged in the fire of mutual understanding and compassion. This stranger doesn't see you as a stranger at all. Instead, they mirror back parts of yourself you never knew existed. Together, you find yourselves drifting towards the horizon, drawn into an uncertain future, yet hand in hand. Your relationship unfolds like a tale of two lost travelers rediscovering the road to home. With each step, the distance between you and this stranger dissipates, replaced by an ever-growing sense of trust. The echoes of loneliness begin to fade, replaced by the promise of a bond strengthened by mutual understanding and compassion. Your divine isolation transforms as the landscape of your perceptions shifts. Your relationships now feel robust, while your inner world has transformed into a beacon, a place where the line between solitude and connection has blurred into a single, pure truth. The only connection that truly matters is the one with the self. Third is the great release. The great release is where things get really challenging. This trial asks you to let go of everything you've ever identified with relationships, beliefs, material possessions, and even your sense of self. It's like standing at the edge of a spiritual cliff and being asked to jump without a parachute. You might experience sudden losses, unexpected endings, or a compelling urge to simplify your life drastically. Remember, this release creates space for what's truly meant for you. You stand at the threshold of a great release, a moment of reckoning when the very fabric of your reality begins to unravel. The universe is nudging you to release everything you've ever held dear, relationships, convictions, material possessions, and even your sense of self. This isn't just about decluttering or trimming excess. It's an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery and rebirth. Imagine being a character in an epic hero's tale. You've navigated through treacherous landscapes, battled fearsome foes, and made it to the precipice of victory. However, upon reaching the ultimate prize, you're confronted with an unexpected choice. Let go of the one thing that has defined you throughout your journey. The sword of identity, once your trusty companion, now feels like a weight that's suffocating you. As you ponder this decision, the landscape around you begins to change. The once clear sky transforms into a swirling vortex of uncertainty, and the air thickens with anticipation. Every step feels heavy, as if the very ground beneath your feet is trying to hold you back. You wonder if you're truly prepared to release this crucial piece of your identity. But what lies at the heart of this great release? Is it a call to surrender to something greater than yourself, or merely a desperate attempt to avoid the pain of loss? As you waver on the precipice, you're forced to confront the deep-rooted fears that have held you back for so long. The release of your identity requires an immense amount of courage, for it involves surrendering to the unknown and embracing a new chapter in your life. The great release propels you headfirst into an unknown abyss. The ground beneath your feet disappears, leaving you to navigate the deepest, most primal fears that have haunted you since the beginning of time. You're forced to confront the fragility of your own existence, the fleeting nature of life, and the finite resources available to you. As you lose your footing, you're plunged into a swirling maelstrom of emotions. Every memory, every love story, and every triumph now seems like a distant, fading echo. Your sense of identity crumbles, and your reality is rewritten. The familiar world of yesterday dissolves into a sea of uncertainty, leaving you with only the faintest glimmer of hope. In the midst of this unrelenting chaos, you begin to question everything. Was I ever really in control? Was I living a life that was truly mine? What lies beyond the edges of this unknown expanse? Your thoughts spiral out of control, and the silence that follows is like a scream that dares not be heard. And yet, in the dark recesses of this abyss, something miraculous is happening. Your very essence, like the untapped potential within a seed, begins to stir. A spark of inner light starts to flicker, illuminating the shadows that have so long shrouded your soul. You begin to see that this great release is not an ending, but a rebirth, a chance to rediscover the depths of your own inner world. As you emerge from the abyss, you find yourself standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted landscape. The great release has shattered the constraints of your old reality, leaving you with a profound sense of freedom. You're no longer bound by the shackles of your identity. Instead, you've been given the gift of radical possibility. With each step forward, you feel the world unfolding before you like a malleable clay. Your thoughts, once confined by the boundaries of your old self, now flow like a mighty river, carving a path through uncharted territories. Your intuition, once silenced by the weight of your own expectations, now whispers guidance, nudging you toward the shores of untold adventures. You begin to understand that this great release was never about destroying your old self, but about unlocking the dormant potential within. Like a phoenix, you rise from the ashes, your essence transformed, radiant, and reborn. You see that you have always been more than what you thought, and that this great release was merely the catalyst for your own transformation. As the dust settles, you realize that the great release has not only transformed you, but also the landscape itself. What once seemed uncertain now shines with an inherent clarity, inviting you to navigate its gentle slopes. You feel the universe's encouragement, urging you toward a new horizon, where your true purpose awaits. With each step forward, your connection to the world deepens. You begin to understand that this great release was never about physical loss, but about the rediscovery of inner strength and the chance to connect with the world on a deeper level. As the curtain falls on this moment of reckoning, you stand tall, transformed by the great release. Your heart, once weighed down by the constraints of your identity, now beats with the hope and excitement of a fresh beginning. Fourth is the dark night of the soul. Perhaps the most infamous of all spiritual trials is the dark night of the soul. This is where you'll navigate through the deepest spiritual depression, where everything loses meaning and your faith is tested to its absolute limits. It's like being in a tunnel where you can't see the light at either end. This trial often feels endless while you're in it, but it serves a crucial purpose, destroying your old understanding of spirituality to make way for a much deeper truth. You've always been the resilient one, the rock that your loved ones lean on in times of crisis. But what happens when the tables turn, and you find yourself lost in the depths of despair? The dark night of the soul, a mystical phenomenon studied by philosophers and psychologists alike, is a spiritual crisis that reduces even the most well-adjusted individuals to rubbles. It's as if the universe has declared war on your very existence, leaving you shattered, bewildered, and questioning your purpose. Imagine walking through a dense forest, where the once bright path has been shrouded in an impenetrable veil of darkness. Every step feels like a desperate attempt to escape the crushing weight of your own existence. You're no longer the confident warrior you once were. Instead, you're a fragile, trembling leaf, at the mercy of the winds that howl through your turbulent mind. The dark night of the soul is a period of metaphysical searching, where the very fabric of your reality is torn apart, and you're forced to confront the existential questions you've been avoiding for so long. It's as if the universe has placed you on a sacred ashram, forcing you to face the void within and surrender to the ultimate truth: that you're not who you thought you were. You begin to feel like a stranger in your own life, a ghost hovering on the periphery of your relationships. Your friends and family grow concerned, but their words of wisdom fall on deaf ears, as you're trapped in a vortex of self-doubt and confusion. Even the things you once held dear, your career, your passions, your sense of identity, seem hollow and insignificant in the face of this unforgiving darkness. One day, you stumble upon a quote by the 16th century mystic, John of the Cross: "The dark night of the soul is the most difficult and painful path to union with God." You ponder the words, searching for a glimmer of hope in the void. Is this the universe's way of urging you to awaken to a higher reality? Or is it a cruel joke, designed to destroy your very essence? As you wander through the desolate landscape of your mind, you start to uncover fragments of your true self. The masks you've worn for so long begin to crumble, revealing the insecurities, the fears, and the doubts that have haunted you all along. It's as if you're witnessing your own disintegration, and yet, in this abyss of self, you're also discovering a profound sense of freedom. In the dark night of the soul, you're forced to confront the shadow self, the repressed aspects of your personality that you've been too afraid to acknowledge. It's a journey of self-annihilation, where you surrender to the unknown and emerge transformed, reborn from the ashes of your old self. As the darkness begins to recede, you're left with a hollow sense of peace, a knowing that you've been forever changed by this shattering experience. Your relationships will never be the same, your passions will never be the same, and your sense of identity will never be the same. But in this newfound vulnerability, you've discovered a glimmer of hope, a hope that you'll emerge, phoenix-like, from the ashes of your old self, reborn to a reality that's more authentic, more raw, and more beautiful than you ever thought possible. In the dark night of the soul, you're not just navigating a spiritual crisis, you're embarking on a journey of radical transformation, where the very fabric of your reality is torn apart, and you're forced to reassemble yourself into a being that's more aligned with your true nature. It's a terrifying, exhilarating, and ultimately liberating experience that will challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world around you. Fifth, the faith crucible. The faith crucible takes everything you believe in and puts it to the test. Your spiritual beliefs will be challenged in ways you never imagined possible. You'll be asked to trust in the unseen despite all logical evidence pointing to the contrary. This trial often brings situations that seem to contradict everything you've learned about spiritual principles, forcing you to either deepen your faith or abandon it entirely. As you navigate the uncharted territories of the faith crucible, you begin to realize that your spiritual principles have been merely intellectual constructs, detached from the depths of your being. Your thoughts, once a mere reflection of your conditioning, now find themselves on a collision course with the unyielding forces of reality. Imagine standing before a great river, its waters churning and foaming as it rushes toward the horizon. You've always believed in the power of faith, but now, as you gaze out at the turbulent waters, you wonder if everything you've learned about the universe is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. The faith crucible is your proving ground, where the steel of your conviction is tempered in the fire of uncertainty. Your past experiences, once a beacon of hope and guidance, now seem like child's play as you confront the toughest questions your faith has ever faced. How can you trust in the unseen when the evidence in front of you screams otherwise? Does this not contradict everything you've been taught about the laws of physics, the natural order of things? In this crucible of questions, you're forced to choose between deeper faith or reckless abandon. Which path will you take? Will you cling to the familiar, comfortable narratives of your faith, or will you dare to topple the statues of your dogma, allowing the winds of doubt to assail you? You step into the maelstrom, and as the waters close above your head, you feel a presence beside you. A figure, shrouded in shadows, reaches out a hand and whispers, "Trust in the river." You look up to see the misty veil of uncertainty lift, revealing the face of Martin Luther, the fiery reformer who sparked a Christian revolution in the 16th century. But is it not the river itself that questions your faith? Luther asks, his voice carrying on the wind. Is it not the river that taunts you with doubt? His words echo in your mind as you cling to the wreckage of your certainty, his ghostly form vanishing into the mist. But his presence lingers, taunting you, reminding you that the choice is yours. The river rages on, its currents shifting and twisting, like a dragon coiled within its depths. With each step you take, you stumble upon doubts long buried beneath the surface of your mind. Will you confront them head-on or cling to the known, choosing to remain adrift on the turbulent waves of uncertainty? You see others facing the same challenges, some drowning in the darkness, while others ride the waves with renewed hope and faith. In their stories, you recognize fragments of your own. You realize that the faith crucible is not a solo journey, but a communal path, one marked by shared experiences of uncertainty, questioning, and sometimes the miraculous. As you continue through this crucible, you're offered glimpses into the stories of the faithful. You see Socrates, whose very death by execution, with his final question unasked, symbolizes the threshold that lies ahead. You witness Tao Te Ching, the ancient sage who recognized that true wisdom lies in understanding the limitations of understanding. His quote, "Knowing others is intellect. Knowing yourself is true wisdom," echoes within you as you grapple with your own limitations. The river begins to recede, its waters calming as you find yourself at a crossroads. The faith crucible's ultimate test awaits. Will you step forward into the unknown with a deeper faith, or retreat into the comforts of your old certainties? In this precipitous moment, you realize that the journey through the faith crucible hasn't hardened your resolve or weakened your faith. It has liquefied it, allowing it to flow more freely, touched by both the crystalline waters of conviction and the boundless skies of uncertainty. The decision is far from simple, for in this crucible, all paths lead to growth, to transformation, to awakening to the unseen forces that shape the universe. Sixth, the ultimate surrender. You have always been the type of person who likes to be in control, who likes to have the upper hand. You are the one who takes charge, who pushes boundaries, who never gives up. But what happens when you are faced with a situation that tests your resolve, that pushes you to the very limits of your endurance? This is where the ultimate surrender comes in. It's not a defeat, but rather a triumph of the spirit. It's a moment when you finally realize that you can't do it alone, that you need to let go of your ego, your pride, and your need for control. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves crashing against the shore with a force that's almost deafening. You can feel the weight of your fears, your doubts, and your worries bearing down on you, threatening to engulf you at any moment. You try to push them back, to fight against the tide, but it's no use. The wave is too strong, and it's about to crash down on you with all its might. And then, in a flash of insight, you see it. You see that you don't have to fight it. You don't have to resist the inevitable. You can simply surrender to the wave, let it wash over you, and find peace in the midst of the chaos. This is the ultimate surrender. It's a moment when you finally understand that you are not in control, that you are not the master of your destiny. You are not the one who determines the outcome of your life. Something greater than you is at work, something that you can't see or touch or grasp. And yet, in that moment of surrender, you find a strange kind of freedom. You find a freedom from the burdens that you have carried for so long, a freedom from the need to control, to dominate, to be perfect. You find a freedom to simply be, to let go, to trust in the unknown. It's not always easy, you know. The ultimate surrender is a journey, not a destination. It's a path that winds through the darkness, through the shadows, through the depths of your own soul. You will be tested, you will be tempted, you will be pushed to the limit. But you will also be transformed. You will be remade, reborn, renewed. You will emerge from the darkness, from the shadows, from the depths of your own soul with a newfound sense of purpose, of direction, of clarity. And when you finally reach the other side, you will look back on the ultimate surrender with a sense of gratitude, of wonder, of awe. You will know that you were tested, that you were transformed, and that you emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. The final test is the awakening integration. This is where you learn to bring your spiritual insights into your daily life, while maintaining your connection to the divine. It's about being both human and spiritual, living in the world, but not being consumed by it. This trial tests your ability to maintain your spiritual awareness, while dealing with mundane responsibilities and challenges. As you delve deeper into the mysterious realms of the awakening integration, you begin to grasp the existential significance of this profound experience. It's as if the very fabric of reality is unraveling, revealing the hidden tapestry of your being. You're no longer just a passive observer. You've become an active participant in the grand symphony of existence. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a grand, ancient library. The air is thick with the weight of forgotten knowledge, and the silence is palpable. As you push open the creaky door, a faint whisper echoes through the halls, beckoning you to explore the labyrinthine corridors of your own consciousness. The winding staircases seem to stretch infinitely upward, each step leading you further into the depths of your being. You've been here before, but this time, the experience is different. The boundaries of your ego have begun to dissolve, allowing you to see the intricate web of connections that bind you to every aspect of existence. You realize that the threads of your reality are fragile, and the slightest tug can unravel the entire fabric. It's then that you come face to face with the guardians of your awakening, the fears, doubts, and uncertainties that have held you back for so long. They stand before you, their eyes flashing with a fierce intensity, as if to say, "Turn back now, and we'll let you return to the comfort of ignorance." But you know that this is not an option. You've been beckoned to this place for a reason, to confront the shadows that have haunted you, and to emerge transformed. As you navigate the twisting passages, you encounter a figure who embodies the spirit of the awakening integration. This enigmatic guide wears a cloak of misty grey, and their eyes burn with an otherworldly light. They speak to you in riddles, sharing parables that shatter your perceptions and reveal new perspectives. You are a leaf on the wind-blown tree of existence, they say. Your roots dig deep into the earth, but your branches stretch towards the sky. Yet, you are not separate from the tree. You are an integral part of it. In the same way, you are not separate from the universe. You are an expression of its ever-changing, ever-evolving essence. Their words leave you reeling, as the implications sink in like a sunrise on a desert horizon. You realize that your true nature is not just a fragile, mortal self, but a spark of the cosmic fire that has fueled the birth of galaxies and the dance of stars. And so, you continue on this journey, integrating the fragmented shards of your being, weaving them into a tapestry of unity and wholeness. The trials ahead will be intense, but you know that each step forward is a step closer to realizing your potential, to becoming the embodiment of the awakening integration, shining bright with a light that illuminates the darkness and guides others along their own path. In this realm of the collective unconscious, you'll encounter aspects of yourself that you've never met before. They'll challenge your assumptions, force you to confront your deepest fears, and help you recognize the impermanence of all things. Yet, it's through these trials that you'll distill your essence into a pure, crystalline form, unblemished by the dust of ignorance and untainted by the poison of separation. As you navigate the wondrous labyrinth of the awakening integration, remember that you're not just a solitary traveler. You're a member of a greater family, bound by the invisible threads of connectedness. You're a part of the ever-unfolding cosmic dance, and your every step contributes to the rhythm of creation. In this grand symphony, you're called to play a unique melody, one that harmonizes with the melodies of those around you, creating a beautiful, otherworldly sound that resonates throughout the expanse of existence. The awakening integration is not a destination. It's an evolutionary process that transforms you, inch by inch, into a shining manifestation of the divine, an embodiment of love, compassion, and unity. Embracing your spiritual journey, the next steps. Remember, these trials aren't punishments. They're sacred invitations to evolve into your highest spiritual potential. If you're experiencing any of these tests right now, know that you're not alone on this path. The fact that you're facing these challenges means you're among the chosen few who are ready for profound transformation. I'd love to hear about your experiences with these spiritual trials. Share your journey in the comments below and connect with others who might be walking the same path. Remember, sometimes the greatest comfort comes from knowing others understand what you're going through. For deeper insights into each of these spiritual trials, I've created a free Spiritual Warriors guide that you can access through the link in the description below. It's packed with practical tools and wisdom to help you navigate these challenging times. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications to join our growing community of spiritual seekers. Next week, we'll be diving deep into practical techniques for navigating the dark night of the soul. You won't want to miss it. Until then, remember, these trials don't come to those who can't handle them. You were chosen for this path because you're ready for it. Trust the journey, embrace the challenge, and keep walking forward, spiritual warrior.